It's the Deep for the Week talk show. Are you ready to talk? Let's get deep for the week.
Hello, and thank you for joining us on the Deep for the Week show. I am your host, Kali, as some of you may know, and for some of you that are just joining us for the first time, thank you for joining us. And before we get started, I always ask you guys to like, subscribe, and share. And if you have any input, please comment below. We love to hear back from you. If you'd like to be a guest on our show, we'd also love to have you as a guest. If you'd like to elaborate on the show we've already had and have a part 2 to that show, or you have some more input and you would like to come on the show, we'd love to have you here on the Deep for the Week. So comment below and we'll get you started on how to be a guest on our show. Again, thanks for watching. I am Kali, and this show is about elevation. Are you in a stage of elevation? Well, how are you feeling? Are you okay? You're okay. And I come here to tell you today, you're just fine. Now, the first stages of elevation is not easy. You go through so many mixed emotions. You're there, you're here, you're everywhere, because you're literally climbing. And as you're climbing, anything, like if it's a fence or if you step over, you're stepping up, you step over. One foot is still below, one foot is higher, or one foot is on the other side of the fence and one foot is over. And you're straddling still. And this is what we come to talk about. I've been through many stages of elevation, as it is required in my life as I try to do many things in life. So with that being said, I'm here to help you, as I help many others with elevating in anything, in business, in working out, in addiction, and relationships, and self-love, and any people come to me for everything. And why, I don't know. Maybe they see something in me that can help them, that inspires them, and so they reach out to me and I help them where I can. And here today, I am here to help you where I can when it comes to elevating and what you may be feeling or going through. So let's talk about it. Let's get deep, you guys. So again, today's show is about elevating. And at any time when you're elevating and in any area of elevation, you'll experience this moment, okay? And when you do, how it hurts and feels so good at the same time. Those are those mixed emotions that I was talking about. So what hurts? The fact that you realize you no longer fit in where you once fit in before. You realize you're different, so different that you can't be where you used to be. And you can't fit in and be on this level that you're on now. It's almost impossible. Okay. Partying won't feel the same. Kicking it won't feel the same. Love won't feel the same. What you listen to for music won't be the same. Everything you try, every time you try to fit in where you once were comfortable, it won't feel okay at all anymore. And that's how you know you're on your way. You are elevating. And when you go back, because sometimes we go back for many reasons. We want to show them our progress. We want to see how people are doing. You're human. Sometimes we do this. And it's something like relapsing. As any addict, they never feel comfortable in the environment that contributed to their addictions. So when you go back, you will know you're elevating, because you just will feel like, I'm not supposed to be here. I know better, or it doesn't feel right, or it's not entertaining no more. It's not fun anymore. So that's a sign of elevation. And that is some of the things you will experience. And some people, they do go back, they reach a point of elevation where they want to go back to save people from the things that they were experiencing that contributed to them not being who they could have been at this point. And so they go back to save people, and that can be a catch-22. And I experienced that too. Like, when you figure something out, whether it's a math problem or how a car starts when it wasn't starting or just anything. You feel innovative and you want to share that with people so that they don't go through the struggle of figuring it out, what you had to figure out. And it doesn't work that way. Sometimes they have to go through what you are going through or went through to figure out what they need to figure out. And so, you'll have this savior moment where you want to go back and save everyone now because you feel like you can do for them what you just did for yourself. And you can't, because the difference between yourself and them is that you can control you and you cannot control them. And you'll figure that out on your own. But hopefully it doesn't take you too long and you don't go through too many bodies trying to figure that out, because that holds you back. So the first stage of elevation can be lonely or seem so, but you're not lonely, you're alone. Okay. And certain stages of life require it so you can focus and not be distracted by others' bullshit or even your own bullshit. So you have to learn and enjoy this time alone. Enjoy this period, this season to the fullest, and do not relapse. Starting over sucks. Okay. Especially when you realize how far you've come from, how long it took you to get there, where you went. There's a reason why you go away to college, to the army, to be great. It often takes going away from your normal environment. And you may be uncomfortable at first because you're human, right? And humans are creatures of habit. And how we live, believe it or not, is a habit. That smoke you have every day, that snack you have daily, that show you watch every day. Those are all habits, okay? And when we have to change those things, it's hard as fuck. It's hard. That's part of being human, okay? And you didn't come up with this thought, though, of you want something different because you were not slightly enjoying those things anymore. So think about that when you think about going back to the place that you were no longer enjoying. And that's why you thought about leaving in the first place, okay? And that can be literally a place, or that can be analytically speaking. So how bad do you want what you want? Is it bad enough to get it, or are you just going to, daydream about it for the rest of your life? It's up there. It's not down here, okay, where you already are. So look up. And as you go up, things become smaller, right? Literally, in any situation, as you go up, things become smaller. Like when you're going up in the sky and you're looking down, things become smaller, literally. And you carry less because you can't get too high with too much weight. For example, when you load a plane, they only let you take so many pounds, because if everybody took what they wanted, we would not get to the elevation we need to get to fly where we need to go. And that's kind of how life is. You can't take all that baggage when you're going up. Some of that stuff you got to decide, do I really need this? Is it conducive to the lifestyle I want to live? Is it hurting me? Is it too heavy? Am I carrying someone else's shit? And make that decision to let go of some of those things you think you want, So if you want anything, if you want to get better at anything, you may have to take a step away from the things that take away from you doing better and or changing in this area. So for example, if you're trying to lose weight, I'm going to try to go over many examples because people can use this. So you can use this in different areas, guys. Okay. So if you're trying to lose weight and all your friends do when they go out is go to buffets and go to restaurants, then you can't kick it with those friends anymore. And it's not because they're bad people. Okay. When we're elevating, we don't have to always down talk the people that we left behind. Okay. That's not good. And, they're not bad people because they're not taking the steps that you're taking yet. Okay. Just like you were not a bad person when you were there. Okay. So But what you're doing in life requires you not to kick it with them and do the things they do anymore. So you have to kind of stray away from kicking it with them, because all they do is go eat. And it's like, oh, am I going to go to the restaurant and just have water? No. So what you do for enjoyment now changes as you're making that change to lose weight. You've elevated past that type of enjoyment. Another example, if you're trying to stop gangbanging, right? And you just don't like that activity no more. You don't like the criminal activity. You don't like watching your back anymore. You don't like going to jail, in and out of jail. You don't like having to worry about what color you wear anymore. You just don't want to be a gangbanger anymore. You don't see this life going anywhere. You're just like, why am I even doing this? You stop going to the set. That's how you change. That's the first step of that elevation for that. Okay. And you start doing other things. Yeah, at first it will be hard because for years you have been doing this daily. And now what do? Well, you find yourself, go get a book, go for a walk, go jogging, go on a vacation, find other things you enjoy doing, because clearly, again, if you're thinking about not doing that anymore, it's because you don't enjoy it like you used to. And so think about that when you think about going back to that comfort zone. Okay. And, like I said, find yourself, and when you elevate from doing all those things that you do on the set, you will feel isolated at first because you will not be with that group of people that you usually are with, and your new happiness will require you to be alone sometimes, most of the time. So trying to get better at anything, again, a sport, etc., anything, you're going to spend days alone. If you're trying to get faster, for example, you're going to spend days training, nights studying. How do I get faster? To read, you got to be somewhere where you can be focused. It might require being alone and isolated. So training, again, it's going to require being alone and isolated. So again, it's away from what you're used to. And while you're going through this journey, you can't eat the same, do nothing the same when you're trying to reach this goal. So now you've elevated. Finally, right? You're not the same. You're not on the same team. You're not on the same division. You don't know anything where you're at. Nothing is familiar. But you're where you want it to be. At any time, you can go back. Right back to where you were. But do not forget what it took to get to where you are now. Be careful and remember what it took to get here, or what it's taking. Okay? I want you to do something. Study great people, or people who are accomplished or doing what you are trying to do. Okay? Or something similar. I've already accomplished what you're trying to accomplish. And they'll tell you or show you that they have to separate themselves from everything familiar to them at some point. And, you're going to have to do that. And when you're ready, it won't feel so forced or like something you have to work so hard at, It'll be more of something that you want to do. It will come natural. I truly believe everyone should spend a period of time in their life alone. And this is a good time when you get to know yourself, the real you, the person that's not people-pleasing others, sacrificing their feelings for others, but the person who depends on solely themselves for validation and reassurance. This is when you become the most creative, the most authentic, the most comfortable, the most free you have ever been, because you're only pleasing yourself. This is when you dance like no one is watching. So I believe you should spend that time alone in life to get to know yourself. And that's the best time to get to know what you really want, because you have to give it to yourself. Like, you can't blame others for your unhappiness or your happiness. You have to provide it. And you have to get to know what actually provides that. And that is getting to know yourself. And you'll start providing it for yourself, and you won't be so dependent on others to do it. Because when you depend on others, that's when you experience the most letdown and depression and sadness. Because again, you cannot control what others do. You can only control self. And so that's why elevating requires a lot of time with self. But elevate, get cocky about who you are now when you're reaching these points and these heights, because you're not the procrastinating, excuse making person looking for instant gratification and love from others, but you're so enlightened that you know that everything starts with you. Okay, everything. So it's lonely up here at first, because all those people and those habits and those things that you needed are not up here. But once you finally realize what your soul needs, and you stop feeding the flesh and the temporary fixes, and you won't need nothing, you won't need nothing but peace, really, because that's all your soul really needs, and not all those people and things, because, I've experienced wanting a lot of things, and there's many reasons why I experienced that, and I finally gripped onto the reason why I want all these things, or I wanted to feel so accomplished. And I've got in touch with that feeling and that emotion. And now I really don't even care to have a lot of things or possessions. And I do realize now that possessions possess you, and you don't possess them. Your car does not give you money. You give the car money. You put money into the car. The car does not put money into you. The car possesses you. The house does not give you money. The house does not ask you how you're doing. The house does not fix you. You fix the house. You put money into the house. The house possesses you. Okay. So once I realized that, I didn't want many possessions anymore. I'm more at peace with loving myself without all those things. And that's for another show too. But we're talking about elevation, not loving yourself right now. I mean, you have to love yourself to want to get to this point to elevate. Yes, you do. But let's stick to the subject. So when you finally realize what your soul needs, you'll stop doing all that stuff that you think you need, and you won't need nothing at all. And, if you look at the people that teach this, like Buddhists and monks and priests and spiritual people and religious people, etc., they're all very isolated to a point where it kind of seems weird. But they understand energy and the exchange of it, and now only exchange energy to those who are receptive to receiving and or learning. They then dedicate their lives to helping others, because at this highest height, all you want to do is teach and give what the universe just gave you. So are you ready? Are you in the process of elevating? Does it feel weird yet? Do you feel like you don't belong here yet? Are you having these thoughts like you're an alien yet? Then you have not elevated. No, I'm saying. No, but when you get to that point, you will feel very different. You won't, and you will be, and that's why you're feeling that way. But you'll realize the environments, the people, the things I ate, the music I listened to, the movies I watched, everything is going to change. And again, being human, you're going to experience that first little couple moments of that being very uncomfortable. You think about, why am I doing this? Should I go back? I miss the people, and I miss I miss smoking, I miss drinking, I miss eating. But think about it. Think about what you really want in life, and like I said, you can always experience going back, but think about how far you went. Dropping down is easy. Woo, boom. But climbing up is not. Okay, it's not as fast. So always think about where you're going back to, and again, what it took you to get here. Okay, so Again, are you feeling weird yet? Is it scary yet? Do you feel like you're losing yourself or you're letting go of a lot of stuff? If you do, then you're on your way. Because as you get higher and closer to self, you'll be dropping off all kind of shit that keeps you, from elevating. Shit that's heavy, people that's heavy, materialistics that's heavy, etc. And you'll start making room for what you really need and want, which is not much. You're not lonely again. You're alone. So don't forget that. And if you'd like to come on the show and talk more about elevating in your stage of elevation that you're in, please do. Okay. And I guess that's what that that saying, it's lonely at the top, comes from. And that's at the top of anything, at the top of your class, at the top of your athletic ability, at the top of your company, at the top of a lot of areas in life. You're going to feel lonely. Greatness is lonely, okay? Or alone. There's not many people working on themselves this much. Okay, you're great for that. There's not that many people that was willing to get away from what's hurting them. You're great for that. Up here, you will find your people, but they're busy every day working at getting better, working on themselves, exploring. And so they're not congregating and kicking it and socializing as much as you may be used to seeing people do that. But you will have time to congregate and be, a part of that. If that's what you want to do, you will find your people, but it won't be the people you once knew most of the time. When you elevate, everyone can't come, and not even the old you. So, again, you're okay. Don't look back. Don't look down. Keep going. Don't worry about what they're doing down there or over there. Keep going. You got this. Deal with those mixed emotions you have as you climb up, and just validate and remember what you really want and who you really want to be every day as you take another step. I'm proud of you. Anyways, it is a new year, sort of, kind of. And again, I've mentioned this on the previous show. We will talk about when the new year really starts. We're going to have a show about that. And I hope you join us on that show. Stay tuned. And again, thanks for joining us on the Deep for the Week show. If you want to be a guest on the show, comment below. We love to have you. We always looking for more guests on the Deep for the Week show. So come on the show and let's get deep, y'all. And again, thanks for watching. And don't forget to subscribe.